Hello, everyone. I'll say namaste. That's obviously something we're meant to be saying. And happy Holi for a day or two ago. It's Norman Koshnek here with some very esteemed guests. Well, in fact, one's a bit, Chris looks like he's a bit steamy rather than esteemed. But and we have Chris Vernon here at Vern158 and the one and only Adam Boom Boom Hollioake. Is that your new nickname?
Well, you just made it up, mate. I'll go with whatever you say, mate. It's your show. Call me whatever you want.
And Adam, of course, has been extremely busy with his whole stable full of boxers that he's taken care of, and martial arts or mixed martial arts experts. He's got a ton of things going on, and very impressive indeed. We might even get him to talk about that if time permits. But yeah, this is our night. We're going to talk about a bit of a retro over the series. In fact, last night I talked a bit about the IPL, and yeah, that was last night, which Chris wasn't available for. He was too busy playing golf. And Banster Boys saying hi to Smokey. We were playing Surrey Championship, first 11 around the same time in the late 80s, I guess, top player. And Banster Boys is actually Mr. Vernon, Mr. Richard Vernon.
He's my man,
yeah. All right, so the reality is a number of, I'm assuming some of the England players have actually headed back home. Some are you getting excited about your Chris Vernon biggest fan club?
I just saw the comment, Chris Vernon's biggest fan club. Yes. Still getting a bit carried away, isn't it?
Well, you must have a few cousins out there that are creating all these fan clubs. I don't know what's going on. It's certainly not anyone credible. Okay, so the reality is that some of the England players are heading back to England at the moment. Some are staying because they're playing IPL. Some I hear are actually looking at playing not IPL but other, like they're in some local groupings of teams. Did you hear that, Chris? That some of the players are actually staying back and playing in other smaller comps just to keep the feel of India going, which I think is very commendable. Not unlike going to play county cricket. I think that makes a lot of sense. But it won't be the Ranji Trophy level. So, all right, we have Biram Irani. Now, you'll notice, Adam, I don't know whether you've seen that we have now a membership level. And you'll see Biram Irani's got a green coloured writing. He's actually a member, not just a subscriber, but a member, which attracts a fee. And there's also people who put super stickers on. And we've had a guy called James Dean put a $50 one on the other day, which is quite interesting. And Amit Shrivastav wants to join. Well, then please do, Amit. No one's stopping you. Ray saying, hi, Rock. He's saying you look like Rock, I'm guessing. Is it like The Rock?
The Rock.
Mate, I'm more like the Pebble, I think, compared to the
We're not talking about other parts of your anatomy.
Oh, come on. PG, keep it clean.
It's a family show, Norman.
I just talked about rocks and pebbles. That's your mind, Chris, working over. All right. So, Barnsley Boys, so Australia have a chance to become global sporting disgrace. Steve Smith has said that he is ready to be Australian captain again. Norman has said numerous times in this play that he would never happen. And that is absolutely true. It was made clear by Steve Smith that he wouldn't be. It's an orchestration going on, which really annoys me. Ben Horn wrote the article. Him running around the Waverley Oval there with two young boys with cricket bats, that wasn't just by accident, I can assure you. It was very much staged. And in fact, he doesn't even play for Waverley. He plays for Sutherland. So it was all staged. And I'm really annoyed by it because it made the back page of the Sydney papers and it splashed everywhere about Steve Smith saying he's now, he sees the light. He wants to be captain again. Hang on a minute. Daniel Brettick from Cricket Info made it very clear. He may well think that, but the selectors haven't selected him, for God's sake. It's really, really bad form for him to do that, especially in front of the fact that Tim Payne is still the captain now. You shouldn't do that, quite frankly. We can talk about it, we can speculate about it, but he shouldn't come out on the back page. He's trying to gain a sympathy vote. I'm actually quite disappointed. What's your thought?
I would be very surprised, and I might be totally wrong here, that if Steve Smith hasn't had some kind of indication or some kind of discussion with the powers that be, even if it was a if you were available to captain the country, would you be would you want to take the job on? I'll be very surprised if he's come out of complete and utter nowhere and just released all this without consulting the hierarchy, or at least having some kind of indication. So I'd be surprised if someone hasn't said to him, hypothetically, if you were available to, if we wanted you to captain, what would you say? I mean, I don't know what Smokey thinks or The Rock thinks, but I'd be surprised if there hasn't been some kind of discussions or messages behind the scenes already that might suggest that they want him to do it.
Well, I think there's a couple of things there. I mean, I was dealing with the media, 10, 20 years ago, so I know things change, but my experience with the media is sometimes when you're giving an interview, and I've got an insight into how these guys work, because I mean, I was always quite an inquisitive guy, so I'd ask the journalists, what do you do? They said, oh, we often try and ask you some very easy questions to start off with, not very probing, get your confidence, and then they might ask you like a question like that. So he might have been just strolling around. What oval did you say it was? Waverley Oval, or
Waverley Oval, yeah.
Strolling around Waverley Oval, probably had a little bit of a connection there with the journalist, and then he's probably said, "Oh, look, just out of interest, if you got asked to do it," and I think he's probably just said it, and then that's just got blown up. The editor gone back to the editor. The editor's gone, "That's the story." I mean, it can be one of two ways. It could be the way Chris said it first, where he'd be surprised if that hadn't. My experience of it is that same thing has happened to me a couple of times. I think I got asked, and it's a favorite thing for the journalists to ask, but it's just probably never as big a question as this. If you got asked to be captain, would you do it? I got asked that several times before I became captain, after I lost the captaincy, when I was captain of the one-day side and they were looking for a test captain. So I got asked that, and I was always advised to play a really straight bat to it. So I never, saying that, when I got asked if I would be captain again, I always used to say yes. But if it was a case of the captain was already there, I would always be sure to say no. So what I don't like here is that he said that. I think an easier way out of the question would have been, look, Tim Paine's captain and I'm just here to support him. And then you don't have to answer the question. He may have just had a lazy moment, or he may actually have aspirations to be the captain again. I mean, we don't know, but it's good news. It's a good story because it's got us talking, hasn't it? So it's whether he does it or doesn't, it's created talk and it's great for our game.
But you don't think those two schoolboys from Waverley just happened to be in the park with their bats at the end of a summer like this, and he happened to be walking past them? That was extremely staged.
Well, maybe that bit was, but that might have been part of. And the schoolboys were mates with this reporter. They might have been, reporters going, "Oh, I'm going down to meet Steve Smith. Do you want to come down?" And then that's probably how it all happened, and get a comfortable scenario going. Steve Smith's a nice guy, and before you know it, you get asked a curly question. And I mean, I've done it. I've made bigger boo-boos than that one. Probably not as high profile because I'm not as good a player as Steve Smith ever was. But it's just that everything Steve Smith says, he's one of the top 3 batsmen in the world. And controversial because of the ball tampering thing and the fact he's been captain. So anything he says is just massive news.
Okay, but he also released his new YouTube channel on the same day. There's a few rather interesting coincidences there. And he wasn't doing a publicity stunt on his YouTube channel because the video coverage of that was actually down at Glenn McGrath Oval, which is down in Sutherland. So that was a different story altogether. So, look, he said right up front for a long period of time that he would never captain again, that his days of being captain were over. Surely someone's got in his ear and he's come out. He's making a pledge. His term is making a pledge to be the captain again. And there are Australian press, such as Daniel Brettig, that have been very clear in saying, well, he doesn't select the side, the selectors do. So it's an intriguing situation, to say the least. And look, the word is that they're desperate because Tim Paine's days probably are numbered. and that Steve Smith may well be coerced into going into the position, but otherwise it would have been Aaron Finch. So that's clearly what happened. And it wouldn't have been Pat Cummins. He'll stay as a vice captain and no more. All right. I must also add the domestic season. Well, how did you feel about the domestic season quickly, Adam? New South Wales had some shockers. They had some really low scores against Tassie. And there was a lot of discussion about if there's a weak New South Wales side, there's a weak Australian side. There's often the adage that they make up. What's your thoughts there?
On that particular topic, that probably is because New South Wales has provided the predominant amount of players for the Australian side over the history of the game. I don't know what the numbers are, but my guess would be that over the history of Australian cricket, I would say that it'd have to be 30 or 40% at least. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more, have come from New South Wales. So it's the strongest cricketing state. They've probably won the Shield more times than anybody else. It's much the same in England with Yorkshire and Surrey. They're just always two sides that are, I think they would always say that, you know, strong Yorkshire and a strong Surrey is a strong England. So, I mean, that's obviously not always the case, but it's someone says. So, I don't think it's during my time in the 90s. I think Western Australia were providing a lot of the cricketers, but that's I think things go in cycles, don't they? It's just like Australia were the best side in the world for a while, and now they weren't at all. Now they're coming back into it. West Indies were a great side. They're out. Things go in cycles, and that's what makes the game great. So
yeah, I know, but still, there's a general feeling, and it's not just within Australia; it's with the overall cricketing community of the world, that they think that Australia's on some sort of a down. They're not between India and England. They're the top two, especially in the short version, and somewhat would have to be said about the Test version as well.
I think at the moment, Australia carrying on a little bit. And it's unusual because it's usually the other way around. They're normally carrying on about how good they are and how bad everyone else is. But at this particular occasion, it's like they've got to have one of the best. I mean, it's between India and Australia. He's got the best seam bowling attack in the world. I personally think the Australian seam bowling attack is the best in the world.
You don't think England have a shot, have a say of being in that? England have got as good a depth as both, without a doubt.
Yeah, arguably. But I mean, we've got Anderson and Broad coming to the end, you'd have to say. I mean, the Indian and Australian lineouts we're talking about in the next 5 years. I'm presuming, I might be wrong, that Anderson and Broad won't be around in another 5 years. So I guess I'm kind of looking with an eye on the future, which is what the Australians once Broad and Anderson goes, that's a big ask for England. They're going to have to replace over 1,000 wickets. Mm-hmm. That's a hard thing to do. So I mean, and a year in Test cricket is a hell of a long time. So England may do that, but we've got to see that transition yet. Australia look like they've got a bowling attack that's set for at least 5 years. I mean, Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, they're young and they've got at least 50 Test matches in them. At least 50 Test matches. So, and that's, if you look at the great eras, the West Indies side in the 70s and 80s, Australia throughout the 90s and 2000s, it's based around good bowling attacks. You don't become a great side without a good bowling attack. So I think Australia's got the backbone for that. And then Nathan Lyon is a very good spin bowler as well. Don't forget that. So the second best spinner Australia's ever had. So maybe Stuart McGill. I don't know. That's a bit harsh. Stuart McGill was pretty good.
Yeah. Stuart might say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. Maybe the third then. Still very good bowler.
Yeah.
So you know, and they've got Steve Smith, one of the best batsmen in the world, Marnus Labuschagne, one of the best batsmen in the world, and then a couple of other guys who are kind of building a case. So the future looks good, but I'm hearing the Australians like really panicking, and it's unusual for me. Usually it's the opposite way. I usually hear the Australians, we're the best, and a little bit over the top with their enthusiasm, but I'm seeing, and I'm not sure what it is. I think it's losing to India is no disgrace, because India is a fantastic side at the moment. At this moment in time, they're playing some tremendous cricket. So while Australia think it's, you know, their whole cricket development system and the whole cricket is up in the air, I think anyone at any time can lose to India at the moment, because they're just a fantastic cricket team. I think they're the best side in the world at the moment. That's what I think. I don't think there's any disgrace to lose to them.
Oh, no. I mean, look, we haven't seen Australia play much international cricket. They meant to go to South Africa. They haven't done that. They've played domestically, yes. Some of them are going to the IPL, but there's a long stretch over the winter period. There's not a lot being organised and leading up to the World Cup. It's going to be a rather thin-on period for Australian cricket. A very surprisingly less a year in terms of sheer numbers of games. So that's not going to put them in good stead in terms of just sheer practice, and that's my only concern as well. So, but yeah, Jason Sangha. Have you seen Jason Sangha play?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Not a huge amount. But going back to that other point, sorry, just to go back.
Okay.
That they had a tour to South Africa organised, which obviously Corona thwarted. So that's you know, that's the reason for them not having much cricket. That's not the fault of any of the players or the cricket.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
And I think that's around the world, mate. I don't think you can, you know, start. The whole world's in disarray at the moment, let alone just Australia's plans for future dominance. This coronavirus has taken down a few more things than that, mate. So,
well, they could literally have all the tournaments here in Australia from now. They could have every series of every competition down in Australia quite happily, and COVID wouldn't be an issue, except for Queensland, of course.
Oh, come on, mate. We've got 7 people. It's
actually, Adam, have you had your test before you came on air? Because we don't want anything sort of
transmitted. There's no about it. Like Chris, the filthy animal over there in England. Everyone over there's got it.
Not had my jab yet.
Have you had? What's the story? The jabs. That's surely. I mean, I know this is a cricket show, but surely the jabs are going to open up world travel and hopefully get cricket back on track again, because
hopefully.
It's been a crazy year for cricket, and
I think 35 million people have had the jab now in the UK. It starts at the top and works its way down. So I'm still, my parents have had it. I'm not old enough yet to have it.
They haven't got to the plebs yet.
No, or the fit, young, healthy ones.
I heard they got a gun to you and they were going to just shoot you, put you out of your misery. Was that what they were going to do?
Apparently not, Norman. Apparently we've got a super over to do first. Apparently you've challenged me to a super over. Apparently I won't be able to hit your little dobbers. So we'll have to make sure we get that.
You have no... Did you face me? No. So don't you talk.
I think we'd already won the game by then.
Oh.
I've seen the video, mate. It wasn't pretty. Where was that game? I saw a video of you bowling.
MCG or MCG.
Apparently, according to Norman, he said that he's a better player than me because I haven't played at the M or the SCG.
Or the SCG.
That doesn't mean, you know. He also then said, how many hundreds have I got at the SCG? And
what in your backyard?
The same number as he has. So, you know.
In your backyard when the boundary's about 2 foot wide and you've got a 60 metre over the top of the fence. Is that your hundreds? My foot.
But there's probably more hundreds than you would have got there, Norman.
Have you got any footage of any of your cricket? Anything? You got anything?
I've actually heard rumours from this morning, actually, that Sevenoaks Vine are going to be live streaming their games all summer. Apparently they're getting a new camera technology or something that means all the games will be live streamed. So you'll be able to check it out.
Hang on. I'm not here. You're not hearing my question. Have you got any existing, not what you're gonna, whatever in the future going to do, Have you got anything now?
I probably would be able to dig something up somewhere, but I don't need to have James Bond theme tunes and fudge footage to know that I'm a decent cricketer, Norman.
Fudged footage. There's nothing fudged about it. I'll give
There
you
was nothing of you getting your middle stump skittled. It just happened that you slogged one for one or something.
There's nothing fudged about my cricket at all. Remember the word fudged. It's all words. So, all right. So, I mean, yeah, okay, we can find Adam's footage somewhere, but mine was prominent. So,
the only thing I'll say about my footage is, if you have bad footage and you're only playing in front of 100 people, it's not as bad as the bad footage that I've got playing in front of 99,000. It's bad. It's a bad footage. We've all got bad footage, but the only bad thing about mine is it's in front of a bigger crowd. So.
I've got that photo of you where you throw the bat midair and Simon Kadich is in the background looking horrified. You've seen that photograph, haven't you? I'm actually making T-shirts and cups out of that particular photo.
I throw the bat.
Your bat's in midair. I've actually
really?
posted it. I'll show it to you.
Wow, man, I haven't seen that.
No, I'll have to show you that. All right.
Surely you'd remember it if it happened.
That's I don't know what's worse, the fact that it happened or that I can't remember it. That must mean I did some other worse stuff that I don't remember.
30% of your match fee that went with it.
Simon Kadich was at gully and he looked horrified. It was gully or point. He looked horrified. Your bat was away from your hands and you were like this, having played a shot, and you lost control of the bat.
Yeah. I mean, I was throwing the bat at it, mate. Must have been the last few overs.
Losing. Look, I just wanted to show you guys. Can you see Samson Prakash has put a super sticker? Can you see that?
I can't see any of this. I don't know what you guys. How do I see this?
The comments. It should be on the side.
The comment section. Have you got on the side comments banners brand? No.
No, I've just got something saying you're in the show. Everyone can see you.
But there must be something else that you're not seeing there. But it is an actual. All the commentaries on the one side. Anyway, I'll take a photograph of it and I'll show you. And I'll send you the other photo as well. So yeah, okay. Now we are here to talk about the so-called. Look up, guys. Give us a big smile, Chris. All right, that's good. All right, so we want to talk about the series. Clearly, India have won the Test, the T20, and the ODI series hands down. Are they? I believe they're officially ranked 1 in all formats. Is that right, Chris?
I don't know. I think England are ranked 1 in Test in one day and T20 still.
No, not both. No. I'm pretty sure
they are.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought England would have had quite.
England had to lose the T20s 4-1, I think, to not to be number 1, and England were comfortably number 1 in the one days, I think, anyway. So they're definitely still top in both, as far as I'm aware. I might be wrong. I'm sure someone will tell me if I'm wrong, but
I mean, you could argue it's still worth saying that you would argue after such a series, India deserved to be up there as number 1.
Well, no. Why would you say that?
Well, because they won all 3 series. That's why it's pretty obvious that if it's a pretty good stat, isn't it?
Well, they beat they're the second best side in the world, and they beat England at home just in both series. There was no demolish. They didn't play. It was a pretty close series either way. You don't just become the best ranking in the. Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant's not the best player and the best batsman in the world because he got 80 in one game. You've got to do it consistently over a long period of time, and in all conditions, all formats. You don't want to get carried away just because they beat a side at home, which they probably should.
Oh,
anyway.
I think in justifiably say that they deserve to be up there. Okay, so Biram,
I never said they deserve to be up there.
Okay, he's not even aware of. Hang on, it was Biram Irani. So he's a member. He said I was not even aware of this news. It's nowhere in the Indian media, which is intriguing. This is the super sticker I'm talking about. That's what a super sticker is. I
can see this is coming up now. You must have fiddled with my settings.
I haven't fiddled with anything.
Thank you, Samson.
Thanks, Samson.
Yeah, good on you, Samson.
£40,000. That's a lot of money.
No, it wasn't that much. I wish it was. Okay.
we'd still wouldn't get a pint out of him.
Oh, here we go.
Or a schooner. So you Aussies can't handle it, can you? So you have to have small pints. A jar is called a pot.
No, I found out the reason for that the other day. I used to say the same thing because in Australia they've got the little pot and the midi and the schooner. And I was like, well, why do they have such small beer? And then it makes sense because it's so hot out here. By the time you get to halfway through a pint, it's warm. So it kind of made sense.
But it's always hot here.
So there's some hackers that come in and put Chris Vernon's biggest fan club. If it's the biggest, it still can't be very big. But anyway, which is your favourite team in the IPL, Chris?
I'm a Royal Challengers fan, just because over the years they've had some of my favourite players playing from. AB de Villiers plays there, Chris Gale played there, McCullum, so I've just always seemed to follow. They play at a really small ground, and they always seem to be. I just enjoy watching it for the spectacle, like doing the dream team, fantasy team, and all that stuff. So,
that's the Royal Challengers Bangalore, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm RCB.
Yeah. All right. There's a lot of people saying that Aaron Finch should be long-term captain, not just me.
In tests.
And Payne to go.
Long-term, the bloke's 35.
Well, it's longer than most people. I mean, if Tim Payne sees that report on the back page about Steve Smith pledging to be captain, how do you think Tim Payne would be feeling about that? Not very happy.
That's one of the reasons why I think he's been led down. He's got comfortable. He's given a throwaway comment like one day I might do it, and then I think it's been turned around on him. That's what I personally think, because I don't think any player, and especially one that's as astute and experienced as Steve Smith is now, would say that, knowing that the only media backlash that he can get is negative backlash. Yeah. So, you don't say that when there's already a captain in there.
Media twists all the time. I'm sure there was an interview with someone like Rory Burns, or I'm sure it was an England player at the moment last year, who the headline was something like, Rory Burns says he thinks he's as good as Tendulkar, or something. That was the headline, or something like that. And when you actually read what he said, it was at the end of a long paragraph, and he said, "One day, if I can continue training and practicing well, I'd love to be able to emulate or try and score as many hundreds as Tendulkar would. That's my dream." And basically, the media twisted it to fit a controversial headline. And when you actually read what was said, he didn't say anything of the sort, like what the media. So I don't know.
That's what they do. That's what
what's wrong with Steve Smith just turning around and saying, "Look, after what I've done, got plenty of years left in the tank. I'd love the chance to captain my country one day." He might have just said that, and the press say, "Come out and twist it."
But he was extremely emphatic in many press conferences after the incident for a long period of time, when he was asked when he returns by a whole range of media, and he said emphatically a number of times, "Never. That's it. Never, never, never."
But things change. The time passes, things change. Like, he might have been told by his PR, his agent, just to leave it for now. You don't want to come back swinging. Just get back in the side. Do your time, get your head down, and then things change, don't they?
I was like that with my ex-wife. I said I'd never go back there. It's what you do, isn't it? Like you say never, and then
I've been saying never. I'm never going to have another chocolate cake. And look at me.
Yeah, you look like like you might have had a few.
Did I ask for your comment? I was making a throwaway comment. Not to throw it back.
So, but how long ago was that incident? Was it 5 or 6 years now? Get that ball tampering incident?
Oh,
would it be that long?
No. About
3.
2016.
16.
Yeah.
Close to 5 now. 4 or 5. Yeah.
There's plenty of time. Plenty of time's been and gone.
A lot of stuff changes in 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's true.
How many times have we all said, "I'm never drinking again"? Next weekend.
Never. I've never said that.
They asked him that straight after he'd just been through one of the most public,
humiliations,
disintegrations you've ever seen. It was, that would have been an incredibly stressful time. Now, with anything, any sort of trauma, after a period of time, you get over it. So I think you've got to forgive him for that. He was a young kid as well. Like, what's he, 30 years old? He would have been 24, 25, something like that.
Oh, come on, he was captaining a country. He can't be called a young kid. He wasn't taken off the streets and told to captain.
He's 25, mate. He's 25.
That's an adult. What are you?
And let's face it, he didn't do much wrong. He basically was a captain and took a bullet for his side. He knew about it, and he didn't instigate it. It wasn't his idea. Warner was the culprit. Warner basically shoved Bancroft under the bus, by all accounts. Warner, I think I listened to the Test Match Special podcast at the time, and South Africa reported to the match referee the day before that they'd seen something afoot. Warner had caught wind of it, and apparently next day had gone to Bancroft and said, "This is what you need to do today."
Yeah.
So Warner basically pushed Bancroft under the bus. And let's face it, I mean, Smokey would have played in games. I've played in league games or stuff where there has been some stuff going on, whether it's a nail or it's a bottle top. We've all been there. Won't say any more than that. And apparently the bowlers had no clue. What do you think? Cummings got the ball back at the end of his mark and thought, "Oh, geez, that ball hit that boundary board quite hard." All the scratches or the scuffs on it. Like, Smith took a bullet for the whole side. He took it for Darren Lehman, who came out, denied it, came out the day after Smith got banned in tears and resigned. You don't think that was because he felt guilty about it? Of course it was. Like, they all knew about it. They're all in on it. And Smith did the right thing, what he thought, for 2-match ban or whatever, and took a bullet for the whole team, and it backfired in his face, in my opinion. And if that's the kind of captain he is, and that's an admirable quality. But he's done his time. He certainly is loved by the whole cricket world. I wouldn't say the same for David Warner. I think that most English fans would be booing him next time he's over here. I don't think the same with Smith. So he's by far and away the best candidate for the job. And he, in my opinion, he has to get that back if Australia want to be considered a proper side again, to win the Ashes. I think that he'll be.
Payne's actually not doing it bad. Okay, he had a bad 1.5 Test matches at the end of the India series. So yeah. I admit, his days are. He's not. You'd say he'd be around at best for another 20 Test matches at most, but it could be as soon as 2 or 3 if he doesn't he doesn't get back to it. But before those last couple of Tests, he'd done a tremendous job. But at the beginning of that series, I think everyone was saying, "Wow!" When he took over, Australia was in disarray, and then he'd won Ashes series as a captain in England. He basically got Australia's back up there, and then obviously he had an average end of the series against India. But before that, people were saying, "Wow, this guy was." I thought he was only going to be there for a couple of series. For him,
he's done his job. He's done his job. There's nothing wrong with what Tim Payne's done, but he's done his job. His job is kind of over because he had a task to resurrect Australian cricket from a very bad low point. And we've got people commenting on that. His temperament. It was a few moments. He made some faux pas in the SCG test when he said to Punt, "Won't you get to the Gabby, you're going to be smoked," and blah, blah, blah. And then they won. That was a bit embarrassing.
I always say that, though. That's what's said. I mean, come on. Did you not think that the Aussie bowlers back in the day would have said it, or the English bowlers? Or come on, it's part of the game. The invention of stump mics is possibly the worst thing that's ever said. You're telling me that Adam never said some choice words to the batsman who was annoying him at the time, or we've all copped it, and that's part of the game. That's why Test cricket is brilliant, because stuff like that is said. Like, he wasn't racist, he wasn't homophobic, he didn't swear. He said, "We're up for the next game, and you're going to cop it." I mean, Michael Clarke threatened to break Jimmy Anderson's arm. He said, "How do you want a broken arm?"
Yeah, it wasn't. Where did the homophobic thing come from? It wasn't.
I'm saying what I'm saying is he didn't say anything that was wrong or rude, racist. He didn't swear. So one point is, if he does cross the line, that's fine. But saying we can't wait to get you up there next week, I mean, that's just child's play.
That's good sledging in my book.
Yeah. Now, let me have a look at this. Is Behram Irani's asking about what photograph, what boys. Behram, you're watching. You asked for it. Here it is. That's actually on my community page on my YouTube channel. I've put that actual photograph of the back page of today's paper. Okay. Can you all see it? Chris, can you see it? Read it.
Yeah, but it's been all over the press, bro. I mean, it was front page headlines in England on BBC Sport, so I'm sure if you have a look online, you'll definitely see it. Sure.
So that's what was put on. There's a picture of him with a girl teaching her how to bat. Huh? That's a little bit, it's a little bit.
What are you expecting to do, Norman? Get out of the photo. Like
Of course not. Of course not. I don't. All right.
What are you saying then?
Okay.
I get the impression that Norman has a slight issue with Steve Smith.
I don't.
Scratching the guard thing in the winter as well.
I go up the bloody cafe in Clovelly over here. He's there every day. Beg your pardon.
Is he getting in the way of your cappuccinos, mate? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is he
the banana bread? The banana bread. He tastes the last banana bread.
Is he getting preferential treatment at your cafe? Is that the problem?
Bloody oath he is. Yes, he certainly is. I have to wait in the queue. He just gets given to it. No, that's not true at all. Absolute balderdash. The fact is that he says hello to me. He's a lovely bloke. Moses Enriquez is a lovely bloke. They're lovely blokes. I'm not talking about that, but there's something staged. It may have been the media rather than him. You're right. I'll take that. Okay.
Yeah.
But he did take my bloody banana bread, all right? You want me to tell you the truth? All right, there you go.
Doing you a favour, mate.
All 10 slices.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to put 10 slices where it doesn't belong in a minute. Watch out, Chris. I'll tell you right now.
You see, on a cricket pitch, you get told off. That's bad sledging.
Get a banana bread out of a part of your body you don't normally see it? Be careful.
See, this is sledging that would actually incur a fine. You'd incur a fine for that.
Fine me. Put a super sticker.
You can't put banana bread in places where it doesn't. You can't.
That's your imagination running wild, guys. It's not me. I'm giving you an example, and you're taking it to another level.
Two match ban, Kochek. Bloody 2 match ban.
All right, okay. So back to what we're here for not banana bread and Steve Smith. I just was an aside. Okay. The reality is that Rishabh Pant, there's a lot of talk going on yet again, even though he wasn't given player of the match for that last match. In fact, Sam Curran got that with his 95. Geez, you missed it, Adam. We had David Graveney and Monty on. They were interviewing each other, and they talked a lot about the fact that they had Sam Curran and Tom under their wing. Have you met Sam and Tom?
I coached Sam out in the West Indies probably 2 years ago with the England Lions, and obviously he's a Surrey player for my team, so I'm in close contact with him and Tom. He's a good kid. He's a really solid. He's from a really young age. He's come through the Surrey youth. He'd been identified 7-8 years ago as a kid who was going to play international cricket. So it's no surprise.
But as a batsman, he was a batsman first, wasn't he?
No, not really. No, he was a bowler, but I think people always knew that he wasn't going to be tall enough to, not as tall as his brother, and that. But people were like, his batting will be the thing that comes through. And I think what you saw the other night is he's a far superior batsman to Tom. And he lacks a little bit of height compared to Tom. But being left arm and swinging the ball back in, he's right at the stumps, LBWs and bowls, and he's got enough pace to get wickets at international cricket. So he's a good cricketer and a great attitude and a hard worker.
Right, excellent. So when they come out for the Ashes series later in the year, you'll obviously be here. Do you see any possibility he might have a role? Because you've done it before with the Lions and the like, and your connections are there.
Will I have a role, or will Sam Curran have a role?
You have a role.
It's a really awkward position, Norman. I've been asked this before. I've got myself into a bit of an uncompromising position in that I was born in Australia, went to England. In many people's eyes, I was seen to be a traitor by going and then playing for England. I then coached England. Now I'm with Queensland, and we've got several of the Australian players in the side now. I coached England A, so a lot of those players are now in the England side. A lot of the Surrey players are in England, so I'm pretty much familiar with most of the England side. And I'm pretty much familiar with most of the Australian side now. So whilst coaching is quite transient and people will move, I'm not sure how comfortable I am talking about either party to either party. I mean, I've got some pretty inside intel on the Curran brothers, Rory Burns, a lot of the England players, Liam Livingstone, Mark Wood, all these guys I was coaching over there. The Nut, what's his name? The Leachy and Bess, I was coaching with them, so they're all in the side now. And then with the Australian side, 5 of the Queensland side are in there. So I've got this real conflict of interest, and I know that it goes on in coaching. I'm not it's a personal decision for me. I'm not that comfortable with it. So I was.
Well, Mickey Arthur will talk to 5 sides on the one day all over the world.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's his decision. I'm personally not comfortable with it. I got asked to go with Australia A last winter, and there were actually Queensland were playing against Australia A were playing against England A out here, and I steered well clear of those games. I personally don't. It doesn't sit comfortably with me. That's me. I'm not judging anyone else. Everyone's got their own, but. Maybe I'm overvaluing my knowledge, and I feel that.
I think it's the opposite. I think you're undervaluing your knowledge because, and please don't take this wrongly, I think it would be excellent and it's invaluable for both sides to get your thoughts. Not that you're going to be talking good or bad about either side. The reality is it's good for both teams that you know both teams. It's good for both to hear what you've got to say. I actually think hearing you talk now, I would run to you from either side to get your help because you're very unbiased. I think there's I think you're underplaying. I really do think you're missing out and they're missing out on your knowledge. I think it's quite evident to me. I'd pick you immediately and I wouldn't care from both sides. It happens in rugby league. You've got players doing like, what's his name? The halfback, I've forgotten his name now. The guy from Melbourne who's dealing with the Roosters at Melbourne. In a game between Melbourne and the Roosters, he's advising both sets of the halves, but it works.
Cam Smith, who? What halfback?
No, what's his name? Cooper Cronk.
Cooper Cronk, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And
that's fine. I understand that's professional sport, but maybe I'm just scarred from being called a traitor my whole life.
No one thinks you're a traitor at all. No,
mate. 99,000 people at the MCG were singing Hollioake's a wanker. It's like they can't all be wrong.
But wanker and traitor are different things.
They can't all be wrong, mate. There's at least half of them have to be right. So I had the stick. There was a sticker made up with it, and I bought it. I had it on my car. So it's like
maybe there's just different avenues that they're pulling that from. Maybe they've heard different things. Ex-wife was in the crowd. You see, she said, "Let's start a chant up."
Yeah. So there's a question here about whether we're going to cover the IPL. The reality is, and having spoken to a lot of the Indian press, no one's going near a venue for the whole IPL. No media is going near any venue. No fans are going near IPL. So it's open slather to us being heavily a part of the IPL. It's invaluable that we've got this following that's following us to bring us up the IPL. And Chris and I, and Adam, if you've got time, we need to be able to see that because I think a lot of the programs are going to need that expertise. And Adam, you've been a one-day guru in many people's eyes. And I know it's a T20, but it's still, you've been valuable as well. So without a doubt, Amit, we're going to be talking about the IPL. And Chris, are you ready for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the IPL. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always a glitzy glamour affair, isn't it? But no, it's just I think Wilco summed it up the other day. You know, it's quite an important thing for a lot of people to keep them going through lockdown, isn't it? Really, and it's always a good watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And yeah,
I didn't know Chris that well before we started doing these programs, but the impression I get of him is he's incredibly knowledgeable. He loves watching his cricket, and he looks like he's in the Batcave there. It looks like there's no natural light in there, and
It's
he
because
just
I've opened my curtains. It's a sunny day today. You know, it's like 19 degrees. It's a balmy 19 degrees. As Richie
open the light, let the light in, mate.
you won't
please.
see me. It'll be just be like angelic. It'll be heavenly almost.
He
Did
sits there,
you say angelical?
Like
Angelic?
heavenly.
and he sits there, and he watches cricket, and he's obviously to have the knowledge he does, he must watch a lot of cricket and analyze it a lot. So, I mean, having someone like them on for the IPL will be invaluable.
Well, let's not forget that, Chris, you're posting on Facebook while we're talking to you, by the way. I just got your Facebook.
I just shared your link.
Okay.
I'll delete it if you want.
But Adam, let's not forget who found Chris. Who found Chris?
Are you trying to take credit here? Are you trying to take the spotlight?
I'm taking absolute credit. I had the wherewithal and the insightfulness to say he's the man.
Have you got
Chris
him an agent's agreement? Like,
I didn't get paid me yet.
Will we sign him up?
10% of bugger all is bugger all.
But hang on a minute. Chris would have been sitting back at Seven Oaks Vine, eating his crisps and he's having some chewing gum and picking his nose, watching this and thinking, "Oh, wouldn't it be lovely to be on?" Well, he's on it. And he's a champion. I'm very impressed with him. Although he's a pain in the you know what, but that's another thing. You know, he's actually been brilliant. He's got too many fan clubs. Would you lift your bloody head when I'm talking to you?
I'm just embarrassed, Norman. You know, you're taking, you know, let's face it, it might be the fact that if you hadn't found me, you wouldn't have had 12,500 subscribers. You only have 1,500.
Now that's getting a bit too carried away. Beg your pardon.
Ifs and buts and beer and nuts and every day of Christmas. You know, that's what they usually say.
Oh my God. What have you done? Have you started this? You started this, for God's sake. I haven't started.
I just feel sorry for him that he hasn't got paid because I'm on 10,000 an episode.
That's why you only do it once a month.
Who's the person who nags me to come on?
Who are you pointing to? Is me?
No, hang on.
I don't nag. Come on.
Doesn't matter. All right, let's get back to business. The reality is,
I've actually got to leave, guys. But
okay, Adam, we were very grateful that you came on. He said 15 minutes. He said 15 minutes. He's been on for 47. Good. We're going overtime, Adam. Thanks, Adam. Look, honestly,
guys.
The loveliest man I could ever meet on the Gold Coast. Thanks, Adam.
See you, mate. Bye.
Ciao. Now it's good to have Adam on.
Stay with you again, Norman. I was enjoying that.
He told me it was only going to be here for 15 minutes. By the way,
I've probably got 10 minutes if that's all right. I'll do 10 minutes.
That's all right. That's okay. Okay, so the reality is we've talked a lot about the series. IPL is a major discussion point. We've started on that already. I've talked a bit about the yesterday Delhi Capitals. Aparna made an appearance about that as well. The reality is it's going to be a great series. So you and I have to do some homework, not maybe more me than you, but we need to make sure that we take that seriously. April 7th is only a week away.
Yeah.
Okay. And we need to do some pre-shows. We'll do an Aussie and a POM. We'll do that as well, but we'll do specific IPL. So we'll have a good look at the size. And Shreyas Iyer is not playing. He may be still around the team. But who do you reckon is going to captain that team? The Delhi Capitals.
They might go with someone like Darwan, just for a bit of experience. But there's been talk about Pretty Shaw, Rishabh Pant. So,
and Steve Smith's on the side too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think they'll go Indian. I think maybe Darwan just for that experience. You know, been there, seen there, done it. Played a lot of IPLs and just sort of let the younger guys free their wings and not have to worry about the captaincy side. So.
Rahani's in the team too.
Yeah, but I don't see him playing much. You know, if they're full strength, you know, he's not a 2020 cricketer really, is he? So.
But he's a good player manager, man manager. He's good to have there. Shreyas Iyer may not play, but he'll be around the team.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
So they're pretty well covered. They're not going to be necessarily that worse off without him there. I think they've got a fair bit of coverage. So, all right. So
I actually think looking at the sides, I think Mumbai Indians have got comfortably the strongest side. I think they're by miles the best outfit. You know, with their Indian contingent, they've got Rohit, Hardik, Krunal, Ishan Kishan, Sky Yadav, Bumrah. You know, you've got probably 5 of India's. Well, take Krunal out. You know, you've got 5 or 6 of India's best sort of up and coming, if not 2020 talents. So plus you had Quinton de Kock in, Trent Bolt, they've got Rahul Chahar as well. So I think they'll be the side to beat. And if their batting can find some form, they could be very, very hard to beat.
Okay, just one moment though. To win 3 years in a row is what I'm talking about. We're not denying their ability. Doesn't mean they're going to have everything go their way. Odds are against them winning the comp. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Not about their inability to win. They have the ability to win, but I think the sheer weight of numbers, the sheer weight of odds are against them, regardless of how good they are. Ismooks is saying that Cam Green is the future captain of Australia. Well, that's a long way off. He may well be, but at this point, it's not really a comment. I'd say pretty strongly the evidence is there. It's on the back page that Steve Smith wants to be captain. He's just winning over a wave of support within Australia. It would have been Aaron Finch, but Steve Smith didn't do it. But it's now back to Steve Smith, and that's a fact. All right. Do you want to talk about the Test and the ODI and T20 series at all? Is there any? Because I want your summary, and it's not about where they stand in the competition. England came agonisingly close in a few of the matches, especially the last match. The word agonising was quite frequently used. If someone had supported Sam Curran earlier, and like Liam Livingstone would have got a few more runs, that may have been a target they would have gotten. But look, the reality is India won. No matter how close it was, they won.
Yeah, I agree.
They seem to have this winning edge at the moment, regardless of.
Yeah. I mean, they just won close. They deserve to win it, and I don't think either side will be looking too much into it. I think India will obviously be pleased to have won the series, but I don't think England. I think England were more worried about coming out of the series with some good preparations for the T20 World Cup. So, I don't think England will be too fast. I'm not sure they'll be too worried about how it went. So. No, they'll just look at it as a positive thing to move forward, and England will come back stronger and go from there. Yep,
there's some comments there about Shardul to be regular on the national team first. I think that's true. He will be. Thakur is as good as Shami at the moment. He is because he's in the side and he's performing well. So you can't deny that. People asking me how we earn money from YouTube. Well, you get 1,000 subscribers and you get 4,000 hours of viewing, then you become monetized. It's as simple as that. As long as it's your own material. Just to let you know, it's 1,000 subscribers. Now that's not small, but it's not insurmountable. And the 4,000 hours of viewing, well, you have one good video that a lot of people watch that can be done by one video. So it's not an impossibility. Okay. Galton Avala thinks, do you think Steve Smith should get the captaincy again? Honestly, no. I don't think he should. And when he came out and said, I don't want to be captain anymore, never again, that should have been the end of it. But the fact that he's backflipped by way of whatever coercion or whatever has happened, it hasn't been the public that's been crying for him to be captain. I'll tell you now. There's been very little word about that. Aaron Finch has got a lot of support. So anyway, it looks as though that's what's going to happen. I'm now curious whether, in fact, Steve Smith will be captain for the upcoming Test series. Do you think this publicity angle that's happening now in late March is indicative of a person who's going to take over before the November series starts? I would argue that is.
Yeah. Yes. I think that just times changed. I think now if you said to the Australian public, and maybe it's a good one for you to do when you're out and about talking to the fans next time you do one, just see what the public consensus is, because I bet you that the majority of people would snap your hand off to get him back as captain.
That's a great point, and I will actually do that. I'll make a point of asking it probably tomorrow. I'll ask that in conjunction with a few other questions we've got up our sleeve. The other thing is tomorrow morning, did I tell you that, or 7:15 a.m. my time, which will be 6:15 a.m. where Adam is, I've got a bunch of people that are coming on from a lovely beach location on the Gold Coast that are in 3-day lockdown, by the way. We've actually had a Queensland lockdown. They're going to be talking to me about the Aussies and thoughts on various things. It's going to be a great little interview. It's going to happen at 1:45 a.m. unfortunately in India, which is very early. And in your case, what time will it be where you are? You'll be actually up. It'll be 10 p.m.
Something like that. Yeah. What time did you say it was? Sorry.
Well, 7:15 a.m. my time, which you're 11 hours. So it'll be actually 8:15 p.m. tonight your time, which is effectively, tomorrow morning for me.
Yeah.
If you want to join that, do you want to join that?
I've got to work Zoom calls at 6 and a half, 7, so I'm probably not going to make it.
That's okay. I don't necessarily want you to be. I'm just asking.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind of you.
Yeah. I mean that in a positive way. I don't know.
Yeah.
No. I'm extending to you. Okay. The reality is that'll be. I know. The reality is that's a great question. I will make sure that's asked about Steve Smith's captaincy. I think the world would like to hear that from the public, wouldn't they? Actually, it's a very relevant point. I'll do that tomorrow. So yeah. So again, my take on that series, you can look at it various ways. There's no doubt that England and India are the top two teams, I would argue, at all three formats.
Yeah.
And Australia at the moment cannot justifiably say they're in that top two. They're going to be struggling to keep themselves in the top four at the moment, with probably New Zealand. They're lucky that South Africa and New Zealand and the like are not New Zealand, Sri Lanka, South Africa are quite ordinary at the moment. West Indies are reasonably strong. I mean, they look pretty damn good. I'm impressed with them. It'll be interesting to see how they go. In Pakistan, well, we know Pakistan are playing currently, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a series. I think it starting next week against Africa.
Yeah. But didn't they just play South Africa earlier in the year?
I'm not too sure. They
did. They played South Africa and Pakistan. And they won that quite handsomely.
Yeah, so back to back. I think I'm not sure if it's a test series in South Africa as well. It's just the 1 days. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so they're reciprocating back in South Africa against the same team. But Pakistan, look, there's another friend of mine named Maz Sheikh. Maz is a guy was a bowler. He's got a training academy starting up, and he's working with the Pakistani guys. He's going to come on air with us soon about that. It's quite an interesting topic. Pakistan certainly are, going through somewhat of a renaissance with fast bowlers. They've got quite a few out there now. Mm-hmm. Have you seen their fast bowlers? In fact, we had quite a few that played here. A guy, we had quite a few that played locally. Actually, it was quite incredible. Actually,
I haven't seen no. I know they've obviously got a few good guys out there, and they seem to have a lot of left armers coming through as well, don't they? But
they do.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much about it.
Shaheen Afridi is one. He's not related to the other Afridi, and Harris Ralph is the man that I'm talking about. Harris Ralph, he played the BBL and he was super fast.
Yeah,
and he came out of nowhere, and he could buy 150 plus clicks. He's pretty damn fast and very accurate. So it's certainly worth taking him into account for that as well. So, and I mean, the PSL didn't go through, did they? That was quite sad. They were blocked by, well, obviously COVID was one of the reasons. Arnold said Norman should challenge Chris for a super over in gully cricket and broadcast it live. We will do that. There'll be a day of reckoning, I'll call it.
I'm not sure it'll be much of a contest.
So now, hang on. Stop mumbling with the water in your mouth. What did you say?
I said I'm not sure it'll be much of a contest.
It's funny how you had to disguise that through drinking water. You had the guts to say it to my face. Blah, 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 blah. The reality is I'll take you on any day.
Anytime, anywhere.
You betcha. Sweet Patuskis. You betcha, Sweet Patuskis. I'll take you on. So, but I want to see you in Seven Oaks wine colours.
Yeah.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can. I'm sure we can sort something out.
We'll do a live. We'll get a live cross. We'll talk to the team. Get a bit of a vlog on the pre and post game stuff and during the game. The only problem is you've scored how many hundreds? Hundreds?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
So we're talking about, who was it? Rory Burns being compared to Tendulkar. I think you are. By saying you've scored 100 hundreds, that's very much like I'm Jeffrey Boycott and or Tendulkar.
But you know, you've played at the MCG, Norman, so you're better than
and SCG, MCG
Exactly.
and SCG.
So that means you're the
Several
best.
times. Well, that you just said it, not me. You said it. You said it.
I'm
Not me.
happy
Okay.
to admit it.
Okay. Munchie said, "I'll umpire as long as you put your finger up when Chris go. As soon as Chris walks to the bat, you put your finger up. You know, I reckon you're like Shane Watson. Would you immediately go like this, Chris? Do you
I'm
go
not
like
a big LBW candidate. I'm a left-hander, and I tend to get nick off more than I get LBW. So I wouldn't review as much as I would have thought. So
So what? You don't get LBW? Is that what you're saying? It's against the law.
not as much. I do get LBW, but not as much. My weakness is more caught behind, as a typical lefty.
Right. Mr. RJ saying Chelsea versus Leicester City final. Okay, that's not okay. So yeah, Biram Irani's going to be umpiring. It looks like with Munchie, both of them, both being members.
Munchie suits an umpire. He's got the build for an umpire.
What's this one? I mean, Simon Torfel was a good umpire. He was slim.
Yeah, just saying he's if it was a cold day, Munchie's got the insulation, the natural insulation to weather the storm.
Thank God someone else is being slagged about their weight. That's good to see.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying he's got a you know a nice physique for it.
Oh, right. That seems to be tongue-in-cheek if I've ever heard it. Okay. Garrett Banker says that Chris gets bowled backing away. Ha, ha, ha. Well, Garrett must have seen you back. So Sai Krishna's on. He's come on. Sai was nice to see you, Sai. And what are you saying? It'd be interesting to see Chris batting. I reckon there'll be a bit of Alistair Cook about you.
I've got a couple of videos. I did and I'm not sure if I've still got them. I did some filming for one of my friends, not Simon, has set up an online cricket academy, and I did a little bit of filming for that. So I'll forward it on to you, Norman, and see what you think.
All right, cough it up.
I'll have a look.
If it's on a 2-bit ground in the middle of nowhere, it won't.
It's in a net. It's not in it's in a net.
Oh.
Let's see if I can find it now.
All right. Munchie's big boned, he reckons. Yeah, big boned. He had to write it twice. Cement 006 says Chris will smash a ton. Well, wishful thinking. I want that video.
I'll forward them on, Norman.
Okay. Irani's got a pretty good idea here. Why don't we start a cricket coaching video series? Well, we're going to be competing with Steve Smith. He's got himself doing some batting tips. Did you see that? He's got. Have you seen his YouTube page yet?
I haven't. No, I haven't seen it.
It was launched today. Be worth having a look at. All right, Chris, just do us a favour, and I want you not give me your take on that before you have to head off.
On what?
On what's just gone down in terms of the whole series. And I don't want you to be necessarily England-centric with your comments. I want you to.
I'm never
did you see I call it straight. Enjoyable series? Did you see
it was a brilliant series, wasn't it? It was even the test matches, although it didn't go England's way, I still enjoyed. I thought there was some good cricket from both sides. I think England certainly didn't disgrace themselves in any way, shape or form. They're just not good enough in those conditions against a very good India side. So, but England will take a lot out of that. They won a series, and they won a test match, which they probably wouldn't have expected necessarily to start the season. So, yeah, there'll be lots of positives, and they won't be worried too much about the one day as 2020. I wouldn't have thought so. They competed. They're still, in my opinion, the best all-round side in the world, and they've got a good summer ahead and to prove a point, and hopefully they do the business and beat India over here, which I think that they will.
Here we have it. I've got to do a bit of a.
There you go. Some nice shots in it all.
You look very stiff.
I can't remember what it was. Carl, I've seen you bat, Norman, and you're giving me batting advice. Jesus.
But hang on. Difference between batting in a net and the real thing. is worlds apart. I can hit a ball beautifully in the net. Do it on an open field where people are watching.
I'm confident in my ability, Norman.
Well, that's good that you're confident. There's going to be my little wobblers will just wobble right past you.
I'm sure they will.
No, okay. We've been sent. How many? Can you pick one that's? I can't.
They're only about 3 seconds long each.
Who's the bowler?
They're two of the coaches are on the sidearm, I think.
I mean, you've sent me 4. In fact,
They're only 3 seconds. They're one ball. You pick the best one.
Yeah, I'll post them somewhere.
You don't have to post them. You don't have to post them.
Oh, well, I have to.
My favourite.
I will. Yeah, Baron Morani's eagerly waiting I will put the videos on the community channel. I think you can do that. I'll just have a look how we do that. Because you can. I don't think you can put videos. You can put links to videos, but you can't put the video itself. But I will do that. No worry.
They're all good shots, to be fair, Norman. They're all nice. I like all of them. So you'd have to link them, smash them together, maybe.
What music should I dub it with? Should I put like some,
maybe?
I'll say I'll find a song. Do you mind posting on the live chat? How do I do that?
I don't know. I'm going to have to shoot Norman if that's okay.
All right, guys. Thanks, guys. I'm going to continue. I've got a bit more to say. So Lakshi says, show us the video. I will post it very soon. I'll actually put all the videos in one sequence. I'll do a bit of iMovie and I'll do it.
You have to tag or shout out the banner in the background that says it's my good mates who I've worked for a while. They've set up an online coaching.
Can you give me the link? Is it at online cricket coaching or what?
Yeah, I'll send you a link. As I said, they're doing something slightly different. You can sign up to their free profile and have access to a lot of their content, batting, bowling, fielding content. I've worked.
So there's 4 different videos. Is there something?
Yeah, I think so. My videos are relevant to their product. But yeah, I mean, if there's some Indian fans out there who want to take advantage of some really cool cricket content, batting, bowling, fielding, keeping. There's some really awesome stuff on there. Toby Radford's on there, Nim Patel's does some stuff. So, have a look. I'm sure they'll be grateful for it.
No problems. I'll do that. Although you do look a bit stiff. Okay, all right. So Anurag Karan can't wait for the IPL. So you have to go, Chris, because I'm going to do a bit of a monologue if you're happy to go.
Yeah, that's cool. If that's okay, yeah.
So I'll post those. So send me can you do that now? Send me the because I'm going to post a post session.
Yeah.
All right. I've got to also talk about tomorrow's session. I want to get people to be able to watch it. It's now. What time is it now? It is. It's about 6:10 p.m. in about 4 hours, 5 hours a week. Okay. All right. So you send me that. England deserved a 3-0 win in ODIs against India's 87 strike rate approach. Yeah, they probably did, but they didn't get that. Norman and Chris are Tom and Jerry in the making. Sans caliber. Who's Tom and who's Jerry?
I would be Tom. No, I'd be Jerry, I think. Always escapes with his always escapes.
Are you implying that I'm not fast enough to escape from you?
Pretty much. You wouldn't catch me. Same as you won't catch me in the Super Over.
You're going to regret.
What about Sans caliber? What other famous double acts are there? We could be Tom and Jerry. You could have
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy. That's it. I know exactly who Stan Laurel would be and who Hardy would be.
Actually, that's probably the most apt comparison. Can you actually can you do me a favor and for a Laurel and Hardy photo? And I'll
Photoshop our faces on. I can do that. I'll just leave that with me.
Yeah, about time you do that. Okay, all right. So I just want to take that. Just look up, scratch your head.
Don't you have to do the hair fluff?
That's right. That's right. Do it.
No, I'm not a complete.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
No, not happening.
Anyway, I can play that. Don't worry. You've actually done it live on the video, so I'll just have to freeze frame when you do it.
You wouldn't do that.
Don't worry.
You're like Dumb and Dumber, Munchie.
I do not need a photograph. You've just done it for me beautifully. I'm just going to freeze frame that very moment. I'm going to enjoy that. All right. Say cheese paneer. What's that? Lakshi Sharma? What are you saying?
Chris Vernon's biggest fan club asked for a shout out. Hello, biggest fan club. I appreciate your support. And
who the hell is Chris Vernon biggest because they're the fattest or what?
I don't know. You'd be in that one.
Funny. Well, you're getting funnier, but the fact is, we're gonna do an investigation, a clinical forensic investigation into who's all these people, and we'll get some real facts down. All right, Chris, you can go, mate. I'm going to do a little bit of a monologue about tomorrow. So thanks again, Chris.
No,
we didn't really talk about as much of the game as we wanted to, but we got something out, I guess.
Perfect.
Okay, one last thing. What is your prediction when India come to England? Just quickly for Juddy Chug.
For the Test series, I think England will win 5 tests, 3-1.
With a draw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Purely because the chances of us having a hot, dry summer are probably 0. So I'm sure one of the Test matches might fit my rain. But I think England will hit India hard. India's batting lineup, for how good their bowlers were in the Test series, looked weak. You know, it's not settled. It's out of form. And for a subcontinent side like India to come to England and win, you can't be out of form. That batting lineup will have to win the series because otherwise England bowlers have a field day.
Yeah, so if Pisati must be the next captain, well, it looks like he's been groomed. He's on the back page. They're grooming him. But whether Tim Payne, well, they're going to have to. I mean, the fact they've done it in March, the Test series in November, it does imply that Tim will be saying his goodbyes before the Test series. I hate to say it. He may still be the keeper. He may still be the keeper and not be the captain. That's possible, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, potentially. I don't know what they'll do. That's up to, I'm really not sure. I think Steve Smith should be captain for the Ashes. I think that would be a really good way of getting him back in, sort of motivating the Australians, getting the public back on side, and I think that would be a clever play from Australia.
I think it is. It's been well orchestrated. So Chris Fan Club, which is actually a member, says that Muncie is saying, I'm Savi. So his name's Savi. And he's saying that, he said some other comments, that Norman predicts a 7-0 Indian series. How can I predict a 7-0 series when that series is over? I can't predict any series, except for the one maybe in England. It won't be 7-0. You don't play 7 games, for God's sake. Who made up this rubbish bit? All right, Chris, say goodbye to your handful of game.
All my fan clubs.
Oh my God! You must have a lot of IP addresses, Chris. That's all I can say.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
How come you got 7? How come I can see 17 computers in the background there?
You can't. That's for sure.
You probably move from each one to each one, typing madly away. You know. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. We've gone under 100, so you can say goodbye. And I'm going to post your videos all together. I'll find the appropriate music.
Perfect. Sounds good to
Do you
me.
want me to put a James Bond starting or some UFO spaceship or something? We might do something like that. I'll find something. All right. So, parting words, Chris?
No, thanks everyone for watching. Really pleased that the IPL's around the corner and we can get stuck in I'm looking forward to it. And we'll do some more videos soon, I'm sure.
So I'm on every night at 10:30, Chris. So we're going to work out how much of that will be IPL. I think it'll be pretty much a large chunk of it as we get to the crescendo of the first match. Actually, I think Mumbai Indians are in the first match as well on April 7th.
Yeah, I think it's versus RCB.
That'll be quite a good start, won't it? With Kohli versus Sharma. Interesting. All right.
Oh, perfect.
All right. You happy to go, Chris? You can go anytime you like.
Perfect. Yeah, I will do. And I'll catch you guys all later.
All right. Everyone say goodbye to Chris Vernon at
Deal.
Vern158. Point to your 158. Plenty of questions on his. I saw you posting your golf balls as well.
Yeah, I had a couple of interesting moments in a bunker yesterday. It's a links golf course, so the bunkers are big, deep bunkers, if you like your golf. So I struggled to get it out of the bunker a couple of times. So if you would like a laugh and an amusing watch, head over to my Twitter and see Mr. Tevis Knight posted them, much to my annoyance.
Why don't you send me those videos?
They're on my Twitter, Norman. I don't want to share everything. I'll see you guys later.
All right, see you, Chris. That's Chris Vernon there from Vernon158. He joined us, and we must thank Chris and Adam. They're on very regularly. Adam's a fantastic friend. Chris is certainly the same. A lot of. I'll put his videos up. He looks like he's pretty solid batter. Bit Tavares-like, not really more Tavares, very steady. A lot of balls going straight to the fielder. He may not get out, but not a lot of runs there, I think, unless you've got a long time to bat. So I want to ask them some more questions here. Anurag Karan, hey Chris, do you think we play cricket professionally? He does, but he played for Kent. He played some of the county levels for Kent. He was in some of the under 19 or development squads at one stage. He was pretty good. Obviously, Simon Willis was a part of it. I feel India, this is Beram Irani, I feel India will be 3-2 on the test. Mark my words and mark them well. We certainly will. Lakshi Sharma Rohit will be 200 not out in England, right, Norman? Ha, 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 Lakshi. That's typical. I said 147, not 200. And then Barsi have sent you a video. I've got your videos. And Max will have a lot of tasks to do as well. So we've got a lot of people still commenting. Gareth Banker, England couldn't defeat Pakistan. Well, that's true. Pakistan are not easy to beat. Don't ever think that they're easy to beat. They're a tremendous detailed side. I do wish India would play Pakistan more often. I think that would be great theatre. And I don't know, COVID is getting bad again. Well, Queensland has about 7 cases. They shut down Queensland for 3 days, starting 5 p.m. today. They're in lockdown. We're going to be crossing tomorrow morning now. Please have a look at the guys online now. Go to your set notifications button. You subscribe and you set notification buttons. We have an actual live video tomorrow. Fan reaction, the awesome foursome, as I'm calling it, is Pat. And we've got the likes of Sam and Paul Carter and myself. We'll be talking about the India-England series. We'll be talking about Steve Smith as well. We'll be talking about Rishabh Pant and Virat Kohli and about the various nuances there. That's coming up tomorrow morning, my time, 7:15 a.m., which is 6:15 a.m. in Queensland, which means it'll be, okay, we go back 5.5 hours. So it'll be 1:45 a.m. this coming morning. So it's very early. I'm sorry about that. But you can watch it later, not live if you want to. It'll be obviously recorded. It'll be made available on the YouTube channel. But was it through Colpack? What's that? I'm not sure, Barry, what you're talking about. The reality is that it'll be on, and we will have a live session, and both Sam and Paul, with the company of Pat, will be there. You've seen them at the Mossman Rowers video where it was raining, the boats and back. Well, this time we're going to be on the beach, on the Surfers Paradise Gold Coast, beautiful beach right in front of where both Paul and Sam live. And Mr. RJ Sanik, Dan Christian's in RCB now. Dan Christian's has a golden arm and a golden bat when it comes to winning tournaments, whether it's PSL, CPL, BBL, IPL. He wins them all. At least he's in the teams that win. So V wants to talk about India's dominance in world cricket. They really are number one in the world of all 3 formats. I mean, England are claiming still to be, but that's something they're hanging on by a bare thread. The reality is that India is certainly in the ascendancy and will continue to be. So, V, what do you think about Ishan Kishan? Fantastic. He's got a lot of potential and will continue to do so very well. Shai Krishna, what have you written there? You've written, I think England is not a great test team when compared to India and Australia. We'll see how England go when it comes to playing in Australia in the Test series. I think it's going to be a very, very close series. I don't think either will go ahead. I think Australia will struggle, and so will England in part. But if they bring both Broad and Anderson, and you've got Mark Wood and you've got Ollie Stone, they're going to have quite a bit of depth there. And also they've got, who's the other fellow, left arm bowler who bowled in the, can't remember his name offhand. He's also there. They've got a bit of depth, I tell you. And Rashid looked very good too. Right, Norman, who was most likely to win the T20 World Cup? India. Although it's Australia, it does improve the chances, but no, I think it's going to be India. But then we don't know how Pakistan and West Indies will pull up on the day. They might get their act together on the day. England is tough in India. England is tough in England. How India should prepare for it. Both WTC and 5 tests are in England. Nice stuff there. The reality is the WTC is against New Zealand, so that'll be different to the England team. New Zealand will have a bit of prep, and they may be difficult, but I think India's going to win that. The Test series, well, it'll be something like 3-2. It'll be 2-all and a 3-2 win, possibly to England. Maybe India, but I think England might just sneak home. But it'll be 3-2. England. India are going to have a very good account of themselves. They're not going to miss the opportunities to do well. Don't worry. So we'll just get that point up. If Aussies target Root and Stokes, there is no one to play. I'd say, yeah, I'd agree. I think Root and Stokes and Crawley. Don't discount Crawley. Crawley is someone who really, really, really is looking good, and he looked good in India, and I think he'll do well. Rory Burns will do well too. I think he's got a lot of quality about his batting, especially in Australia. Sibley is not bad. They've got some batting depth there. And Joe Root, if he's in good form, he'll certainly make a difference. Absolutely. All right. So, listen, any more questions, guys? Because we're going to be running out of time. Charles Xavier, is cricket losing its popularity in Australia? I don't know about losing its popularity, just losing its standing because of they're not doing well. The level of cricket is not as high, even though we had a pretty strong domestic season. Women's cricket is really strong. Big changes coming up for England, who is favourite for the Ashes? Well, Australia will be favourite, obviously, because it's at home, but England will have a very good account of themselves, and I think they'll do very, very well. And yeah, Ollie Pope, Barnstead boy, Ollie Pope's there as well. Yeah, Sam Billings maybe too. Well, I'm not sure whether he'll be there or what for it. Sam Curran is certainly coming into his own. He could well be a very good support to Ben Stokes, not only in the bowling but also in the batting. He may take on that lower order position to win a game like Ben Stokes. So Ben will be probably batting up at 4 a lot of the time as well, and he should. He really should. He's certainly a quality to be up in that position in the actual level. So again, guys, 7:15 a.m., which is 1:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. I know it's late. Please set your clocks. You should go and watch that. Billings won't play Test cricket, okay, but he'll be a part of the overall squad of his T20 and ODI, of course. Sam Curran is a refugee from Zimbabwe. Well, that's a bit of a statement. He may have had Zimbabwean background. Yeah, that sometimes makes me wonder. But what happened about the mixed team match? Men's and women in one team there was supposed to be a one-charity match trial. Well, yeah, that's IPL related, I believe. It'll probably be a women's IPL too. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether that takes place. It should. It really should. They talked about that last season. There was a lot of advertising about it, and I don't think it happened. So maybe it should. Maybe it's preparation for this year. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Any other comments, guys? Give me some comments. AA Gamer, he loves India. So Garrett Banker saying last time Sam Curran surprised India with his 95 not out. This time India will be well prepared. Yeah, maybe. I think he's still pretty damn good. He's Curran, Crawley, they'll make impact in Australia as well as England, especially the swing bowling that we're seeing there. All right, so can you get... Oh, Arnold, can you get rid of that double chin? That's because I'm lying down. Is that better? You happy now? Arnold Ingle, let me see a picture of you. I'd like to see whether you've got a double chin or you've got a double something. I don't know. Shouldn't be criticising looks. I'm not young. I know that. But if you see me in earlier photos, you'll see that I was pretty fit. In fact, I was pretty slim. Anyway, and I could play cricket. So what England's taught this 3-format series, what have they learnt, you mean? England have learned a lot. I think they continue to say that they've learned a lot. So will AB be playing in the whole T20 league? I don't know, but if he's available, he may well. So I know she's got a triple chin. Oh, so I didn't know that. Norman, A.K. Oliver Hardy. Would you stop that bastard, boy? You've got to get the Laurel and Hardy. Well, Laurel's not exactly very smart, like scratching his head, is he? It shows a bit of dumbness. All right, so I'm going to repeat again. The fans' reaction will be tomorrow morning and we'll continue that. And I will go on the streets of Coogee, and I will get reactions to Steve Smith's captaincy, as well as discussion on Pant and a few others and Coley. And Sir V says, I reckon Aussies will come back stronger in Ashes and be one step ahead. They'll have plenty of time to plan it, that's for sure. I think it'll be a little bit underdone. They won't have played many sides to get the experience up which they need. So I don't know about that. I really don't know. I'm not convinced that they're going to be so, ready. I think Australia has to go through a lull. Just face the fact. They have to go through a lull. It may well be now. Better time than ever. Just get it out of the way. Make people hungry again to try and win games and really make a stamp. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that. So I would argue that's what we'll see. All right. Vera, also, what's your view on Virat's comment that he was not happy with the man of the match and man of the series in the ODI series? Yeah, interesting. I mean, the man of the match was, of course, the last match was Sam Curran. 95 not out. Well, you'd have to argue that would be a fair point. But in terms of the significance of the match, Shardul Thakur certainly took the wickets when it was needed. So you would argue he deserved to be there as well. But sheer weight of runs, I think Virat's not. He wanted an Indian player to be man of the match and man of the series. And in the way that he did, that's subject to consideration. How good is Cam Green? He's getting a lot of hype. Far too early to say how good he'll go. He's done well at the domestic level. Yes, he's made the Australian side. He's done okay at that level, but I don't think he's proven himself yet. And he's got a long way to go. He's certainly, he's got a lot to prove. He's certainly got the potential of a true batting, bowling all-rounder. He is a true all-rounder, not like some of these other manufactured style bowls. Okay. So I don't know what the story is there. There's been a bit of banter between the people, but man of the match series should have been Bhuvi. No brainer there. Yeah, I'd say Bhuvi probably deserved it, and maybe one of the Indian players like Thakur deserved it as well. Like Virat Kohli's got every right to say that. He's not discouraging or playing down the people that did get it. He's saying others no got it. That's a fair comment. They won all 3 series. They won the series. They're the best team. The best player usually comes from the best team. Usually. Should Sky play the ODIs too? I think he should. He certainly looks like he's the goods. It's just they seem to target him for the T20. Muncie's still around. And what are your comments on Bhuvi? Okay. He bowled fantastically well. He's certainly not the number one bowler of seam and pace they've got. I mean, obviously, Bumrah and Shami will hold that mantle. Hardik Pandya looked also good. But yeah, it's a fair comment that he's up there. Certainly, he's very invaluable bowler of the side. In the last ODI, did Chahal deserve to play? Do you agree? Yeah, he was a little bit hard done by, a little bit, to be honest. I think he got one game and then that was it. It was kind of a little bit hard done by. The middle order of India, Ravindra Hargun's asking, what's my views on that? Well, yeah, we're talking about the ODIs, T20s or Test format. There's a bit of a weakness. Look, you can't continue to win games if you keep changing the batting lineup over and over again. You've got to have stability. Test-wise, they've obviously got, Gill and Sharma there, and they've got Pujara, then the likes of Kohli, Rahane, and Punts. That's very stable test-wise. But then they start to really stuff around with the ODI and T20 sides. Yet they have gotten through and they've won their matches, they've won their series, yes, but there's got to be stability in the side. That's what the issue is. Middle order's got to have stability in the order of the batting. How India should plan for England, please. I hope they go there. Will be all prepared with ample of practice come August. Well, they're best prepared by just getting on those wickets, experiencing the sky above, the air and the surrounding the actual amount of wetness in the air, the humidity, which will be very little, I would imagine, but just to get rid of the idea that they've got to have practice on the wickets. They've got to understand that. Shablam Kaushik says, teach me some Australian slang, Norman. Fair crack of the whip is like, you don't believe it. Fair crack of the whip. Fair income means you're serious. If you're serious, you're fair income. And that's what I was saying. And put another prawn on the barbie. We don't really say shit. Put another prawn on the barbie being barbecue. We generally cut words down. You need to get used to playing with several sweaters on. They will when it comes to England. Munchie, you're right. Very, very sure. It's going to be bloody cold there. Somewhere the Australians will, I will actually be coming to play. Yes, I think so. Tell your story walking. What am I doing? Telling my story walking for? Tomorrow morning, I'm just going to let you know again. I'm going to be, hopefully, if the weather, it was raining just a short while ago here. I'm going to try and be at Coogee Beach or maybe Bondi. I'm not sure yet, and I'll be crossing to the Gold Coast, which is in Queensland. It'll be two great beach sites in one show. You'll have a lot of fun watching that. Again, 1:45 a.m. IST live. In England, it's about 8:15 p.m. tonight, and it'll be 7:15 a.m. where I am. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Barnside boys say slang. It says slang. Slang. What's slang? What about as dry as a Pommy's bath towel? We say that. As dry as a Pommy's bath towel. So there you go. We say that very often. It means they don't wash. That's what that joke was. So Anurag Karan says he loves. I like these little comments. Norman, I love your channel. I try to watch all of them. I'm glad you do. Has Kohli's batting against spin deteriorated? No, he's still getting consistent 50s and 50+ innings. Maybe he's not getting as many centuries, but he's still getting consistent 50. No, I don't believe it. He's not perfect. He can make mistakes. What would I say, Ravindra? What would I say about Virat Kohli's captains? We're going to ask questions tomorrow about Steve Smith being made captain again, and Virat Kohli, and about Rishabh Pant's future. They're the three main questions I'll be asking. Oh, there's a lot of conjecture about Virat Kohli's captaincy. I don't know. He's still worthy of captaincy, especially in the shorter format, and you would argue this test format. You've got Rahane to support him there. You've got now, in the T20, and you've got Robert Sharma there as well, and Pujara even in the test. They've got a fair bit of backup there. So he's not alone. He's not on his own. So that's what we do see. All right, guys. I think it's time that I go. I think I've been going an hour and a half. So thanks, guys. I've got to get some sleep. This is Norman Kochenek for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochenek. We are here talking about what's happened in the Test Series and the ODIs and T20s. We're talking about the IPL. And tomorrow morning, we're talking more to fans, specifically the awesome force in the pack. And then we've got Sam and Paul Carter from the Sunshine State, Gold Coast in Queensland. I'll be here in Sydney at either Coogee or Bondi Beach. We'll have a good natter. 7:15 a.m. my time, your time, 1:45 a.m. I know it's early. Some of you are up that stage. If you are, please notify yourselves and be ready. So thanks Munchie. Thanks Anuj. Thanks Jai Krishna. It is certainly right. So we'll be right, guys. So take care, and we'll speak to each other again. So don't forget to view, like, and share. Subscribe. Maybe become a member if you like. Send super stickers, and ultimately send your links to all your friends in your WhatsApp groups, wherever it might be. Share on your Facebook, share on your Instagram, and make this channel grow, because it grows, it makes it better for you and for us all. Good night, guys. Well, good night from my perspective. I need some sleep. See you guys. All the best.